Former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak is heading straight to jail after the country's top court upheld his 12-year jail sentence for corruption related to the 1MDB financial scandal. Following the verdict, he spoke to supporters waiting near the courthouse.
Saya telah berusaha sedaya upaya, tapi nampaknya setiap apa yang saya mohon daripada mahkamah telah ditolak. Memang saya tak dapat keadilan dan saya tak dapat penghakiman yang berdasarkan pada prinsip fair trial. Saya tak dapat.
Let's get the latest from Afifah Arifin. She joins us live from the Federal High Court in Putrajaya. Afifah, we just heard Najib Razak there claiming that justice was not served. He did not get a fair trial. But clearly that's not how the court saw it.
That's right. So Malaysia's federal court today upheld the guilty verdict against former Prime Minister Najib Razak in the SRC international case. And the court dismissed Najib's appeal to overturn the 12-year jail term and the 210 million ringgit fine over 7 charges. And what the court said during the verdict, the Chief Justice said that, a lot of the grounds of the appeal were devoid of any merits, and he found the conviction and the sentence to be safe. And so it is a unanimous decision that said that all of the evidence led during the trial point to an overwhelmingly guilty verdict on all 7 charges. Now, the verdict essentially means that Najib's jail time begins today, and after bidding goodbye to his family and friends and his entourage in the courtroom, Najib was brought into a prison vehicle and he was driven directly from the federal court to Kajang prison. His lead counsel, Hisham Pei, spoke to the media after Najib had left the courtroom. He said, understandably, he was sad and disappointed with the outcome. Let's listen in to more of what he had to say.
You've heard the decision of the federal court. Verdict was read by the learned Chief Justice. Of course, we are very sad because we lost the appeal. I only say that we seek comfort and solace in the words of a great Indian jurist who said that the Almighty alone can dispense perfect justice. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will not be able to say it now, but we will be discussing that possibility.
Afifah, Najib faces dozens more charges, all linked to the 1MDB scandal. What can we expect next in this 1MDB scandal for Mr. Najib?
That's right. So Najib still has other ongoing court cases related to the 1MDB scandal. In total, he faces about 42 criminal charges over losses at 1MDB and other state entities. There are still 4 remaining trials that are ongoing at the Kuala Lumpur High Court, where Najib had pleaded not guilty to charges of criminal breach of trust, corruption, as well as audit tampering. So these court cases, they will still continue as scheduled. And if convicted, well, Najib could see additional jail time and fines as well.
Afifah, before we crossed you, we saw that his supporters upset at this verdict. How will this affect UMNO's plans, considering Mr. Najib is still a very dominant figure in UMNO? How will this affect UMNO's plans for the upcoming general election?
So we know that UMNO has been ramping up pressure on Prime Minister Ismail Sabri to really dissolve Parliament and call for elections as soon as possible. I mean, now Najib himself is immediately disqualified from running, losing that Pekan seat that he has held for more than 4 decades. So this is definitely a very big blow for the party, losing someone as influential as Najib Razak, someone who's known as Bosku to his supporters, and someone who has been very instrumental in UMNO's victories in the last 4 state elections. So we know that UMNO leaders yesterday, had a series of meetings at a divisional level as well as the top party leadership. So after today's verdict, we're very sure they will regroup and see and discuss plans on what next they have to do to move forward.
Afifah, any chance of a royal pardon for Mr. Najib, similar to the one that Mr. Anwar Ibrahim got in 2018?
That's right. So before the verdict was announced, Najib Razak requested to address the court and the judges, and during which, he spoke to the judges and maintained that he was mistreated. He was denied a fair trial because he was practically left with, no counsel, and he had to defend himself. Until the very end, he maintained that the judges were biased against him, especially the Chief Justice and her relationship with her husband, who has been very vocal about, criticizing or had negative sentiments towards Najib on public platforms such as Facebook. So it's very likely that he will file a judicial review at the very least, according to political observers. But beyond that, he may also petition to the parole board for a royal pardon from the king. And we know a full pardon would essentially give him back his freedom and even, give him the opportunity to perhaps make a political comeback.
And thanks so much for that. Afifa Arifin reporting live to us there from Putrajaya.